Let's continue talking about file management in SolidWorks since it is such an important topic. Let's say that you wanted to rename the engine block and give it a different name or a part number. One way to do this would be to click on the file, open the part in its own window, go to the File menu, and Save As. Save this as a new part number. So we'll just rename this as 12345 6. And now we can see that the file name at the top of the feature manager in the individual part window is 123456. And because we had the assembly open at the same time, it has also renamed it there. Just a big caution for you here. If you do not have the assembly open at the same time, then SolidWorks is going to have no way of knowing that you've changed the name of this file. If you want to replace this file with the original one, and it really doesn't matter if it's the original file or not, there is a way to also replace a file if you didn't get the Save As correct the first time. You can right-click on the part in the feature manager and go to Replace Components. If this component has multiple instances, you can replace all or only individual instances. So I need to browse to the correct folder. This was called Engine Block. There's the file I want. I want it to match the name, and I want it to reattach mates as well. If it's being replaced by a part that's not really the same, then you may have difficulty reattaching mates. So let's go ahead and do the replace on this. And SolidWorks will come back with a notification about the mates. It's telling me that all the mates come across okay, except for a couple here at the end. What it's asking me to do here is to make sure that the face that's shown in the window is the same as the face shown here. We'll say, okay, that's good, and okay, that's good. And then we'll click OK. Now you can see that the engine block has been replaced, and this was not just a name change, but this was actually replacing one file with another. Another one of the major tools that you'll use for file management can be found under the Tools menu, and it's called SolidWorks Explorer. The SolidWorks Explorer interface, when it first comes up, looks rather innocuous. It just is a small search window, but you can expand it to look more like a Windows Explorer window. And then you can look for individual files by browsing or by searching. So if we browse for this assembly on the computer, on the drive, in the folder and subfolder, you may need to expand this. We can look in here and look at various files, various information on these files. Within SolidWorks Explorer, you can look at properties for files and the references, which will be the list of all of the parts and subassemblies within that assembly. You can also see where this was used, which in parts like these has a tendency to mean that in-context references were involved. You can see if there are any configurations used in the assembly, if there are any hyperlinks. Also available within the SolidWorks Explorer are some tools that you may only have access to inside of SolidWorks. You can open a document, use SolidWorks Pack and Go, use a SolidWorks rename function, replace a component within an assembly, or move a file from one location to another in a way that SolidWorks will know where the new location is. It's important that all of your changes be made either in SolidWorks directly or in SolidWorks Explorer. If you do not make your changes in one of these locations, for example, if you use Windows Explorer instead, SolidWorks will have no way of knowing what the change is in the file name. Because SOLIDWORKS stores a record of the location and name of all of the components for the assembly within the assembly, you have to use SOLIDWORKS to change this sort of referenced data.